remember. Hopefully, I remember what all these buttons do.
I mean, we'll find out, right?
Space Arena.
Ground Arena. Saga Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Space Arena, Ground Arena, where we cover Star Wars Unlimited from the ground up into space. I'm Banana Crapshoot, and with me, 67% of the crew is here after like 6 or 8 months. Ben, glad to have you on. Glad to be back. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I feel like I would give you a hug right now if we were in meat space. I feel like it's
And
been
I could
so
do
long.
it.
Yeah,
Because
now
my
you could
arms
do
are
it.
actually healed again, you know?
Yeah.
It's good to be back. It's been a long time. Real life always has to kind of take precedence over the nerd stuff, but I really like doing this. Seeing you, talking about card games, like, it's great to finally be back after, like, such a lengthy break.
Yeah, so I figured we would start off giving a little bit of update. I did do a video last week of like a Saga channel update, just letting people know kind of what my plans are moving forward. So, um, real life man kids, I got 3 of them, and they're young and they're all active in real life. And like you were kind of out of the game for a little bit, and I kind of lost my motivation. Honestly, I enjoy doing this, and like super props to you for covering Versus System 2PCG from 2016 till recently, because I know you had people helping you kind of behind the scenes with some things, but majority of that 10-year span was you by yourself doing the
Yeah.
podcast. And I don't know that I could do that consistently by myself. A show here or there, I'm cool with, but man, super props to you for covering a game basically by yourself for 10 years. I don't know how you did it. There's no way I could do it, but yeah, so real life for me, but it's working out and we're back at it again. So that's it for me. I don't know if you want to give an update on what your deal was the last couple months.
Well, I think one of the factors that played a role is a lot of the content that I've made, not just on this podcast, but across a lot of the stuff. It's been me coming at it with this like competitive angle, this competitive attitude. You know, I play games with guys who maybe aren't as competitive, so I looked at like my podcasts and making videos as a way to sort of scratch that itch and not be insufferable to my group of friends. But over the last like couple years ago, I got into jiu-jitsu. And while I had trained boxing for a long time, I never got to the point where I was competing in boxing. Like, I'm a little too old to get hit in the head, like for real, for real. But I'm not too old to compete in jiu-jitsu. And it definitely, going out there and fighting dudes half my age kind of scratched that competitive itch. And I realized when I was coming to the gaming table, I was wanting to play way more like Twin Suns, like do goofy things, and like kind of, I'm not as competitive as I used to be. I've softened a bit, which kind of left me a little homeless, maybe a little like I wasn't entirely sure what that meant for like making videos going forward. But you know, your idea of like, well, let's just talk about what we're doing. Let's play Twin Suns. Let's talk about Twin Suns, the cyberpunk stuff that's coming up. My kid's interested in that, so maybe I won't have quite the like hardcore competitive analysis edge that I once did, but I still really like getting together with my friends and talking about games, and I don't want that to go away just because I'm becoming soft in my old age.
I get it. Yeah, we kind of hit the same, I think, realization in different ways and at different points. It's just we're just way too busy. I can't consistently play test for
Yeah.
events. Like, I would love to be able to go to events way more often than I can. So just maybe a little more casual approach from our side of things.
Just is what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's still fun. Like you said, like talking about games. So we can still do it. Just, the angle we come from is going to be a little different. So yeah, that was it for, I guess, our catch up. Rotation happened for Premiere. I don't know if you want to touch on that at all. Some of our favorites are gone. Goodbye to Sabine. Goodbye to Han One. Goodbye to Kira. Like all that's gone. It's a whole new world.
Well, I mean, it's sort of gone. You know, I
Yeah,
played Hearthstone for many, many years, and when that game first introduced its Eternal format in Hearthstone, it's called Wild. I played Wild. You know, like I really
yeah.
enjoyed having access to all the tools. Uh, but I guess to get into the kind of Eternal format topic that I really want to hit on, we got this article yesterday. Well, I suppose I should say the 15th of April, in case somebody's
Yep.
not watching this on the day we recorded it, talking about how they're going to handle card bans and suspensions going forward in the Eternal format. And there was a bunch of stuff here that I thought was really cool. I guess I'll sort of hit the outline of the main points, and then we can circle back and talk about them. The first thing that they talked about was cards being suspended for this set period of time. Now, to begin with, it's going to be for 2 sets after it's suspended, but they further discussed in the article that that may change over time, and if a card continually is a problem, it may have like extended bans. So the specific amount of the suspension is not necessarily set in stone, which I'm completely okay with. I like the idea of an Eternal format, but I don't like the idea of an Eternal format where like the same 5 cards are always the best cards in the game. They also talked about the suspension philosophy of maybe not hitting the key card or the axle in the deck, but like Django, for example, and instead hitting things that make Django so good and suspending those. So even though in the Eternal format we're going to have access to all the toys forever, the toys that are going to be like in season at any given time, there's still going to be a little bit of mix up, a little bit of changing here and there. And while I am a player that really likes the idea of my entire binder being legal, I also like novel formats. So I'm pretty positive about all this. Is there any particular part of it you want to circle back to and have thoughts on?
I think the kind of rotating suspended list is pretty interesting. How like I wonder where they got the idea. Let's ban it for now, but in 2 sets it'll come back. Like, has anybody else done that in another game, or like that's
I
kind of
know I know in Argent Saga, in the set one meta for that game, there was a problematic, they called them champions, but there was a problematic leader, and he was not suspended. He was not banned rather. He was suspended until the second set came out and there was more tools to deal with him. So I think they are kind of baking in the assumption that whatever the crazy overpowered thing is they do in set A, they will have come up with tools to deal with that through play testing that will kind of matriculate out through sets B and C. So when it gets unbanned for or unsuspended, I need to start saying suspended because a ban is a different thing. When it gets unsuspended upon the release of set C, there'll be more tools there to deal with it, or players will have like refined their strategies or whatever. It's possible that doesn't work. It's possible that certain cards are just too good and they keep getting suspended over and over again, and they have to do something more permanent to prevent the Eternal format from being like the same couple of leaders the whole time.
yeah.
And but it seems like, considering the way this was announced, they're willing to make those calls, and I think that's cool. Like I like the idea of all the cards are evergreen, and even if they have to take a timeout now and again because people are kind of mad at them, they're still going to come back. That's a cool philosophy, and like you said, I'm not sure that I've seen it in other card games. Certainly not in like a widespread kind of established way like this.
I think Dragon Ball Super maybe did it before they did like their 2.0 with Fusion or whatever they're calling it now. If I remember correctly, like they updated their ban and restricted list after each set release, and I believe there was cards that would come off based on stuff from new sets. So that's the only one that maybe I can't remember for sure that might have done something similar.
Well, given how many of the good ideas in Star Wars Unlimited do kind of have their roots in other card games, I'm not trying to steal credit from anything. If there's some
Yeah.
other card game that has done this format and I just never knew about it, or knew about it and forgot it, no disrespect intended anywhere.
I know.
But I like this philosophy a lot.
I know it's very different in practice, but honestly, when I read it, the first thing I thought of was the versus featured formats and how like every quarter, right? So every 3 months or so, you would every 3 to 4 months you were supposed to, if it came out on time, get a different block of cards that were legal for their premier play.
Well, and I do realize that if you want to look at this from a certain angle, I am being a little bit of a hypocrite. I am trying to have my cake and eat it too. I'm saying, oh, I love Eternal because my whole card binder is legal. But I also love that some parts of my card binder sometimes have to take a break. So I get if you really want to like look at that in kind of a negative light, there is a kind of trying to have my cake and eat it too element to that. But like, so like
Yeah,
I I enjoy having lots and lots of cards to sift through. When I build decks, I tend to do it in a subtractive way. So the more binders I can pull off my shelf and the more cards I can lay out on my table to then eventually carve my deck out of this big pile, that makes me happy. I love it. And if there's something that's problematic that like, all right, using Verse as an example, Dark Phoenix was a card that I would have loved to just see just go away for a little while. Maybe not
yeah,
forever, but for a little while. And I kind of felt that way about Boba Fett too. Around the time he caught his ban in Premiere, it's like I do really like this card. There's a lot of things I like about it, but I understand why he needs to take a break and ride the bench for a while.
yeah. And it is interesting because the two cards they suspended for Eternal are still legal in Premiere right now because they didn't rotate out. So just as Django, right? I'm pretty sure Django just wasn't meant to rest an entire board 9 times a game. Like that's talk about a negative play experience. Like Django's at the top of the list, so that makes sense. That they want him to be playable, but let's rein that power level back a little bit. So
Well,
get
it's
rid
an
of
interesting approach to take. You know, I
yeah,
I like it when card games try to do new things. Sometimes the right answer is just ban the problem card, but
yeah, like
sometimes it's
Thanos.
not. Yeah.
Do you have anything else on this you want to hit?
No, those were the main points. I wanted to call attention to the way it seems like the Eternal format is not going to just be a elephant graveyard of ideas they no longer care about. Like this shows the intention to actually have like a I was going to use the word curated, but that almost sounds pejorative in this. Like a very light curation of what should be the wide open format, and doing that in a continual way. So it's still familiar, but occasionally has like fresh ideas have the chance to shine. I, I've said it several times already, so I'm just repeating myself. But I think that sounds great. I'm really excited about it.
I will say so far FFG's had more hits than misses with their decisions around Star Wars Unlimited. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking this one will probably work as well. There was something else I thought of, and now I lost it. So maybe I'll circle back to it. Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna attempt an awkward segue here. You mentioned negative play experience and versus system. So I'm gonna take those two things,
oh
and when
jeez,
you mix them together, you
you get upper deck.
I
That's
didn't
right.
plan to say that. Oh, geez. No, I was going to say you get Ralph Edwards, but
Oh,
that's meaner than I meant it to be. No. All right. Ralph Edwards posted a deck.
was that
Gosh,
on
I
the
don't know.
Blues
It's been so.
Effect? Was that on his blog?
Yeah, his blog is the Blues Effect, and he posted it on socials as well. It looks like the 14th. Okay, gosh, I was going to say a week ago. That's how busy my life has been. So 2 days ago on the 14th. And this is Thrawn's Ultimate Eternal Control. And this is just the kind of deck that I love. You know, you make one mistake, you fire off one board wipe at the wrong time, and you die. There's no way out of it. But if you don't make that mistake, if you're just able to ride board wipe after board wipe while your opponent gets more and more angry that none of their cards are allowed to do anything, this is just a glorious work of art. I shout out to Ralph. We've had our differences over the years. Overall, I think he's a decent guy, even if this deck is like the meanest thing I've ever seen.
If I sat down across from this, I would probably just concede and walk away. Like I got I got better things to do with the next hour of my time than just get
Not
rage
be able to
baited
play
the
your
entire.
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah. But the
Surprised he
thing
doesn't
that
have Bazine. You know, surprised
the
Bazine.
thing that's like so elegant about these types of decks is you misallocate one resource. Like so many of these cards are really expensive. You have to time the board wipes right. There's times where sometimes a super laser blast to clear one problematic unit is the correct call, but it's gonna feel like no, I gotta hold out one more turn. There's so many ways for this type of deck to just lose the game on the spot. But generally speaking, they're all under your control. Like
Yeah,
I mean, it is like the eternal control deck. So I didn't have a whole lot to say about this other than I thought this was really cool, and I love these kinds of like make your opponent hate being alive decks.
yeah. And if you're interested in making your opponent hate their life, we will. I'll post the link to the blog post in the show notes so people can check that out. Since we gave him a shout out, well,
Yeah, his
yeah,
breakdown's very good. Even if you don't want to play the deck, the breakdown is worth reading so you have some idea what these types of players are trying to do in a competitive format. Like you, especially if you've like paid money and you're playing for stakes, you don't want this kind of deck to ruin your day because it can put you so tilted that you flame out in the rest of your rounds if you don't have a good game plan to deal with this kind of frustration engine.
for sure. And I remembered what I wanted to say now. When they first announced the format, you kind of think, how are they really going to support it? But they've already had like PQs and other events on the Eternal format, so it goes to show they're supporting the format. So for
Which is great.
organized play, and they've had limited PQs and sectors and regionals, like big premier events, like top of the competitive chain, running Eternal and limited format. So it's cool to see them supporting the game in various ways. For the people that like to, there's a lot of people I know. Sam really likes. Sam Derrick really likes limited play, so
Sure.
it's just cool to see them actually following through with this support on these alternate formats. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
What I think is so cool is to be part of a game community where the various factions within the community are not constantly at each other's throats because we're like fighting over scraps. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Another game community that I'm a part of is currently having a little bit of a kerfuffle over like a transfer from the board game space to the digital space, and there's people saying stuff like, "Well, I want this game on the format that I play, but I don't want other people to have it because that's going to cost too much development." And like this feeling of scarcity. And we don't have that with FFG and Star Wars Unlimited. The people who want to play Eternal have a place to play it. The people who want to play Limited, they're getting respected. All the different ways to play are being respected by the game designers. And I think overall that has the feeling of like we're not looking at each other like if you get an event then I don't. You know what I mean? And again, I say this as someone who has largely taken a big step back from the competitive scene, so I don't have as much skin in the game as I used to. But now as more of an observer, I still think it's great. Like I love it. Even if I don't necessarily like the direction of every set that has come out, the
Mm-hmm.
overall like steering of the TCG as an entity, I think FFG has done a pretty impressive job so far.
I'd agree. And like, even though like Twilight wasn't a great set overall,
I wasn't gonna say it, but that's like what went through my head.
yeah. And honestly, when Lawless Time first came out, I was not a fan. Like, rotation just happened. I couldn't find leaders I really liked that were new. I felt like I'm just playing the same leaders from like the last three sets, and like I felt like all the good removal options were gone. But I just had to go back to square one and forget everything I knew. And now I'm really enjoying a Lawless Time and the decks. Like, I'm having fun with it again, and I wasn't for like the first couple weeks. I was like really like down on post rotation swoop, but now I'm having fun with it after like I started from square one again.
Rotation can be hard, man. Like it can be an off ramp to playing a game when like all your favorite cards or like really important cards for your favorite strategy just aren't viable anymore, and having like, man, why do I feel like I'm a beginner? I've been here, but that's rotation does sometimes make beginners out of us, even experienced players.
Yeah. So I think I went through that and I had to deal with that and come to terms with I can't play Cad Bane as much as I want to anymore.
I
Um,
mean, Eternal's right there, bro.
I know, I know, and I'm thinking it's probably still really good in Eternal. So yeah, but I have some Twin Sons pairings with Cad Bane that I enjoy. So that's kind of where my Cad Bane days are, is hanging out with some other bounty hunters and lots of ping damage. So speaking of a lawless time, I kind of talked about it a little bit. Is there, or I guess, what are your thoughts? What is your experience post rotation with Star Wars Unlimited? Did you have a reset moment, and or did you?
I mean, my reset with my relationship with the game kind of happened back when my arm got broken a year ago, and like I couldn't play games for a while. So the format rotation largely has not affected me because I've hop over it, when I hop on Carabas to play 1v1s, I'm playing Eternal.
Mm,
And as far as like Twin Sons, like that's just new toys to put in my deck. You know what I mean? There wasn't that like transitionary period that you get for Premiere. So that just wasn't an experience that I had with this rotation. Although I can I can empathize with it.
yeah. So a lawless time. We obviously haven't talked about it much, but what are your thoughts on the two big new mechanics are credit tokens and the multi-aspect cards? What are your thoughts
Dude,
on that? Do you
I
have any?
I'm gonna get accused of glazing here. Like we've been gone so long, and I'm opening up a donut shop in our big comeback. But I like both. I like both a lot. I do think there's maybe some balance issues that could crop up with credit tokens. Like anytime you start playing around with ramp, it can be dangerous. Potentially setting something up to where you're discounting a card to zero, which is not exactly how a credit token works, but like functionally it can. Like there is potential bad stuff there, but like let's be mad about it when it becomes bad. So far, I have had no problems with credit tokens. I think it's a cool mechanic. And as far as the multi aspect cards, I'm not like crazy about them, but blue and yellow on one card together is not something I'm gonna hate on, man. Like I
Right.
love playing those colors anyway. So I'm generally positive about both. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
The credit tokens, I see where you're coming from, but they also printed like three silver bullets for credit tokens, like in this set. One's a direct silver bullet, and then the two of them are a little more indirect in how they deal with credit tokens. But there's already ways to deal with them, and FFG's pretty consistently done that so far in this game. If they present something new and cool that could possibly break it, there's probably built-in ways within the set to deal with it. So that's kind of my take on credit code tokens. I do like the mechanic, the floating resource that's not baked into the core mechanics, but now is a mechanic I think is cool. And the multi-aspect cards I think is a huge W. It was inevitable that we were going to get to this point. I'm honestly surprised it took as long as it did. But my two favorite leaders I think right now currently are Saw Gerrera and Tobias Beckett, and they're both the multi-aspect that don't give heroism or villainy. So I'm having a lot of fun with those. And Beckett, he's your favorite colors.
I, it's funny because I'm not like the biggest fan of this guy like from the lore, but he's always my two colors. So I feel
Yeah.
like he's kind of become like maybe I have to replace Max Rebo. My new Star Wars avatar is gonna be this Becky guy.
Gee.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think that's happening. Max Rebo for life, baby.
Yeah. And I do like the new, and I like Enfys Nest. I think she's pretty cool. The first like deck that I built that I was like thought this was cool was doing Enfys Nest, and everybody's running aggressive negotiations, right? Because it's like the ultimate punch up and finish a game out of nowhere. and she can trigger the on attack ability twice. So you do that on the tactical bomber, and you hit for like 9 to base, and then you deal 9 indirect, and then you trigger her and deal another 9 indirect, and it's just
That's an
like,
incredible amount of reach.
yeah, that was pretty fun. Um, but yeah, recently I've been settling in with Saw and Beckett. So, do you have a couple cards leaders that you really want to like talk on that you're having fun with, or you would really enjoy or impressed by?
Out of Lawless Time, the one that has kind of stood out for me is Jabba the Hutt. Uh, and this is going to be like such a corny reason, but like I took that Jabba the Hutt and the blue Jabba the Hutt from what set was he out of? I can't remember now. Secrets of Power.
Yeah,
These Jabba the Hutts together, and then I just packed the deck with like all 3 copies of Bosk, both Bibs, both Slate, like a bunch of like redundant characters. So it's like consistently playing like my gang of underworld dudes. And I know like the whole like 8 Vaders, we're not there yet, but we're getting close.
we're pretty close.
I, we kind of made fun of it, but like I was ambivalent before, but now 3 years later, I kind of like it actually. I think it's cool to be able to have multiple Han Solos or multiple whatevers out on the board. I kind of poked fun at like people that got mad about it before, but I didn't really care. Now I full on disagree. I like having multiples of the characters that I want to play in my deck. It's fun.
It is fun, and card games at their core are supposed to be fun. So, yeah, I like that.
I say
Java
that
too.
after I brought up that Thrawn deck earlier. Maybe
Yeah.
I hate fun. I don't know.
There's just no in between with you. You either want people to hate their lives, or you want to have a lot of fun. You just hate the mid range game apparently.
I play Twin Sons with both Thrawns and then Jar Jar Binks in the deck. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, sounds great. I do like that Jabba too. I think he's cool. I I like. So I played a lot of Han 1. So any way that I can cheat big stuff out earlier than my opponent, I'm usually going to be a fan of. And Jabba's a good one because he can really build up those credits pretty consistently. For me, yeah, it was Saw and Tobias. Do you have any other like units or events that stand out to you? Like I can tell you my favorite unit in this set, hand down, like no competition, is Hona. The
Okay.
He's Vigilance, Aggression, 4 cost. He's a 3/5, so 3 power and 5 health, and he has Raid 2 and Restore 2. So, and the reason I like him so much is because one of like the key removal cards I'm seeing is a Tree Remembers, which is the 3 cost Vigilance, or is it 4 cost Vigilance that removes the effects on a card, and if it's 3 or less, it's defeated. It's a vanilla. I think it's called.
I can't remember.
Tree Remembers. Yeah, it's a 4 cost Vigilance. An enemy unit loses all abilities for the space if it costs 3 or less to defeat it. Like that's all over the place if you're playing a blue deck, and since he's 4 costs, he gets around that. He's got the Raid 2 and Restore 2, and so I'll say I did a video last week on a Beckett deck, and that has led me into Saw. So my next deck will be Saw. So with Beckett, I was running like these bounty hunters in my deck, and I'm like, these would be really good with Overwhelm. Saw Gerrera gives +2 and Overwhelm. So with Saw, Hona can end a game like hitting for 7 out of nowhere. And if you get the aggression negotiations, you can aggressive negotiations Saw hit for like 7 or 8, and then Hona's hit for Overwhelm with 7 or 8. So it's a nice little combo there. But I'm pretty much a fan of all the Vigilance aggression cards, the Mandalorian, Bith Brute, the Violent Valance, the 5 cost ones, probably the most least played ones for me, but that whole like suite of red blue I think is like awesome, and that's kind of where I'm trying to live right now.
It's not a unit, but Betrayed Trust has been a really fun card. It's the 2 cost Vigilance event that just makes it so a unit can't deal combat damage for a phase.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
Yeah, and it's cheap. You know, for the kind of like annoying stuff I like to do in 1v1, having this kind of effect for 2 isn't that much different than like an Entrenched. Obviously, entrenched lasts much longer. It's not doing the exact same kind of thing, but functionally, it kind of does do the same. Like a lot of times, I'm not playing entrenched on something, and then it lives for 10 turns. You know, it sticks around maybe another turn or two, and then eventually a board wipe comes down. This is serving a very similar purpose for a little bit less cost. It's just the kind of nonsense I like, man, and it's a trick.
So you can pull it with your four cost Java and your twin sons and eternal death.
You see what I've been doing lately.
Yep, I see. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that red blue suite, and also so with Saul, he's green red, so I'm running the blue base. So then I get all the bounty hunters, and then I can play the 5 cost Asajj that readies a bounty hunter. Um, so yeah, you can probably figure out what this deck is at this point.
I guess I should also mention that red Sebulba. I like him too.
The leader that
Just
gives raid.
yeah, like self mill. Yeah, like I don't know. I like doing goofy stuff now. Apparently, I'm gonna mill myself and attack you aggressively, or we're gonna be here for the next 3 hours while I kill all your stuff and have no win condition. One
I
way or
guess
the other.
if from a premier standpoint though, I just don't think like him and Vader have enough support to really pack a punch like that Vader kind of sucks. I'll be honest. Like I'm really not impressed with that Vader. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but
The art kind of hurt my feelings too a little bit.
it's like the coolest, most badass scene in Star Wars. Like it's up there. It's like top 3 definitely all time for Star Wars scenes, and then that's it. Kind of, I don't get it. I don't get how the lightsaber glow.
We succeeded. We found something for me to talk a little bit of trash about. I do not like the art on that card, sir.
Yeah, that's fair. I think most people would agree that it is not great. I figured like Aura Singh would be like where you want to be. Just straight up defeat something with 1 or less health. So actually, one of my
I do
twin
like
sons,
that card.
one of the twin son decks I wanted to talk about later was Aura Singh Cad Bane, with Tarkin Town, and then they're just pinging damage everywhere, and then she's just finishing the deal.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I figured we'd talk about it when we dive into Twin Sons in a few minutes, but yeah. Anything else from a lawless time before we move into Twin Sons?
No, I think we've kind of hit it, and I've kind of already started spilling into the Twin Sun. So
Yeah, same.
let us have it, man. What leader pairing do you want to talk about?
I got a few. The first one I want to talk about is I'm calling it the Space Rainbow, and it is you can literally play any card in the game in this deck legally. It is Chancellor Palpatine Flip Palp, so yellow heroism, and then when he triggers effect, he flips it. He's cunning villainy. Pairing him with Saul Guerrero, who gives you command and aggression, and then you're running a blue base, some random 30 health base. So you can play any villainy or heroism card. You can play literally any card in here, and I'm not saying it's good, but you can do it. But there's with every card in the deck at your disposal that you can play legally. You can play. There's lots of cool stuff that you can do. You obviously wouldn't like wheel. Or I'll just let me bring up the deck image. I don't know if it'll fit on the screen, but it does.
That's gonna be too much for us.
It doesn't. But it. I mean, it's Twin Sun, so it's 80 cards, right? But you have an idea. Yeah, we got the heroic sacrifice to help trigger. We got some stuff to give ambush. We got the hot shot blasters, the choppers, right? Stuff that I can make sure is gonna off itself to get the Chancellor Palpatine triggers. And then we got the villainy stuff. The villainy stuff is mostly events, some units, but the villainy events are pretty consistent. We got the Stygian Prime nonsense, all the Zuckuses and Forlom happening in here. I guess I will say, the double aspect cards, you have to pay the 2 extra for it if you want to put them in here. So I did it. This is everything that you don't have to pay an aspect penalty for, while being able to play everything in the deck, including Luke's and Maul's and Vader's and Han's. and
This
Wreckers.
does kind of look like a greatest hits for the first few years of the game. You
Yeah,
know, just like all the best cards.
yeah. This is like a '90s playlist, right? Like you go back and you listen to No Scrubs. Like this is my No Scrubs. So Space Rainbow. What do you got?
Well, I kind of already spoiled some of what I've been doing, but my double Jabba deck is what I've been messing around with a lot lately, packing it full of Underworld guys and playing like lots of duplicates of the same Underworld guys, and just giggling. Like, you know, you play Salacious Crumb over and over again, you bounce him with Jabba, you keep it coming back and forth. Like, I I have a lot of fun with that. I have not. I know people that also play Magic. The competitive version of Commander is like all the a hot topic now. I'm not playing Twin Suns like CEDH, man. I'm playing Twin Suns like having fun with it. So I've been doing like thematic combos, like from the movies, combining like Leia and Han or Anakin and Padme, and trying to mess around with some of that stuff. But none of that's really stuck. But my double Jabba deck, and of course the double Thrawn deck that I've been playing forever, those are kind of my mainstay Twin Suns decks. Double Jabbas, and specifically, again, it's the yellow. And the, do I
And the
have to
blue.
say which Jabbas it is?
No.
Yeah, the yellow and the blue Jabbas.
And I'm guessing you're running
It's
a
great,
command
man.
base. Are you running a command base with that?
Well, so the base that I run with pretty much everything is Data Vault, because I want to play with more
90
cards
Twin Suns?
in my Twin Suns deck. Yeah, they
That's
barely like
insane.
they don't want to fit into my deck pod really, you know. That's so I do a lot of Data Vault, so I get just a few more toys crammed into my decks. But yeah, if I was gonna take it seriously, probably Data Vault is not the competitive Twin Suns choice to make, but that's not. I'm trying to have fun, man, and I want to be able to play with all my board wipes, which is fun for me and nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah. That does sound fun. The other one that I said about earlier that I'll just throw up here since I have it is the Aura Singh Cad Bane with Tarkin Town.
I
And I
do
have a
like that
couple
aura saying.
couple bounties in here. Obviously the McClunky, the Daring Raid, and then just good underworld cards to trigger Cad Bane, obviously, and then some removal and stuff to ping damage and some ambush and overwhelm stuff happening. Hona, my G, and Jabba to find the tricks. I do have a good amount of tricks in here. Twin Suns, 80 or in your case 90 cards. Anything you can do to help filter and find cards is even more important than in Premiere. And Zero the Hut is like the most annoying card in Twin Suns for your opponent. So Zero's in here.
Yeah,
There's some plot.
him and
There's some
Jar Jar are
smuggle.
Twin Suns staples.
Yeah, there's some smuggle. There's a little bit of everything in here. So, and then the Savage Press is like a surprise finisher because it's if an opponent controls more units than you, he can enter play ready. So it's just any one of the other people you're playing with. So, this one's a lot of fun too. But those are the two that I'm digging in the most with right now.
How often in your Twin Suns games do you find the healing for killing somebody to be like relevant in deciding the outcome of the game?
Not very.
It's almost never, but when it is, it feels like it's the most impactful game rule ever. Like it almost never matters until it does, and then it's like the most infuriating.
What I find in the Twin Suns games that I play is most of the time the people end up being very diplomatic and they want the game to go as long as possible because they're having so much fun that it's very rarely someone like I'm trying to defeat everyone as fast as possible. We're having a good time. It's casual. Let's see what cool, fun, crazy stuff can happen. But very rarely is it ruthless. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Do you remember that episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie decided he was going to be the wild card, and he like cuts the brake lines on the van that all of the characters are in and screams wild card and then just jumps out of the back of the van going down the highway and like roll. That's how I play Twin Suns. Wild card.
You don't know.
Yeah. I don't care if the game like if the game ends quick, cool, let's shuffle up and play another one. If the game goes long, that's cool. I got to see more of my cards. Like it's
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a bad game of Twin Suns, which is
No,
crazy because I've had bad games of Commander. I love Commander, but
Twin Suns
4-player
fixed.
formats, yeah,
Twin Suns fixed every Commander problem, in my opinion. Like
yeah,
what Commander
basically.
struggles with Twin Suns is like, nope, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it more fun. We're gonna end the game. It's not gonna go forever. Like it's Twin Suns is like
4-player formats can be dangerous, man.
yeah, and
Like
I think Twin
when
Suns
they
is
work,
like
they're great.
I think it's like peak SWU. Honestly, the most fun I've had. Like I even said this in the main deck Discord the other day with like some of my fondest memories of playing Star Wars Unlimited have all been Twin Suns. And like I think back to that weekend in Minnesota, like I with Spark of Rebellion, only the one set available out of one box of cards, we played Twin Suns all weekend. Like me and main deck Dan and the guys from the Johto cast, like, and that was like the most fun.
I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but have you guys ever like got 4 people together and each person buys a box and then you just build a Twin Suns deck out of like the pulls you get from that box?
Yep.
That is so fun.
That is, yeah,
Like
it's great. It's like super.
that's what you were referring to right there, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So in Minnesota,
yeah.
everybody got a box, and then we that's all we had to go with, and then yeah, and it was Spark Rebellion, and we did like it was brand new. The game wasn't even out yet, and it was just
Yeah, that's
all weekend
excellent,
playing
man.
Twin Suns. Some people like some group of people were doing all draft and all sealed, and like they were saving their packs so they could do draft and sealed later. And we're like, no, let's open these, and then let's all play Twin Suns together all weekend, and it was a blast. But that kind of stuff, like the most fun I've had there and outside of there just in general since the game's been out the last few years, is the most fun games or have always been Twin Suns games. So it's a great
It'd probably be better if it was 3v3 though, right?
yeah.
All right, moving on from that.
Are you getting, I'm assuming then you're going to pick up the Twin Suns precons when they
Yeah.
come out? Yeah.
Yeah, very likely. I'd be surprised. It'd be weird if I don't. I mean, I guess I haven't like gone over whatever's in it in the deck list with a fine tooth comb, but nah, I like the idea. So part of being the player who takes games too seriously in my game group is that when we play stuff like Twin Suns or Commander, like I sometimes have other players who are like, "Hey, you're not allowed to play that deck," or "You're not allowed." So the way I kind of solve for that problem is like, look, I'm just going to play a precon. Like this is what the game company put in the deck. I'm not doing anything crazy with it. There's no weird combos. It's just a pre-constructed deck. I haven't had that kind of blowback in Twin Suns yet.
You just play the
But-
Mothman.
I do have that precon, but that's not usually the one I play. Calling that a precon was crazy with how complicated that deck was. But no, at a certain point, like I don't think we're there yet, but eventually when the card pool gets big enough, the combos are going to, I mean, it is a little bit gated with the way the action economy works in SWU, but I could see a world where my buddies who are super casual are like, dude, don't bring your try-hard decks. And then that would be, like, that's the perfect place for when I grab a precon. So it's a very long way to say, yeah, I'm going to pick up the precons.
And yeah, and they're all four of the ones that they're going to sell are thematic pairings all based around the Clone Wars era. So you have Anakin and Padme, you have Asajj and Dooku, Rex and Ahsoka, and then you have Savage and Maul as the other pairing.
I think I might pick up more than one, given how fun all those pairings sound.
Yeah,
We're back to the donut shop part of the show, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to picking them up and playing with them. And I'm at the point now with my boys where they're 10 and 8, but I'll like some mornings I'll wake up like on the weekend on a Saturday and they're sitting at the kitchen table like playing SWU. So they're at the point where I can do Twin Suns with them. And like,
that's
they
awesome.
get it. So yeah. So like my oldest Bosk Jabba. So the Jabba that gives the bounties, and then Bosk, that's like his pairing, because he really enjoys Bosk. So then job and can always give the bounty, so boss can always trigger his effect, and that's what he enjoys. So
I'm kind of jealous, man. I wish my kids were still at the ages where they want to hang out with me all the time.
yeah,
I still got my youngest, but my oldest is 18 now. They got way cooler stuff to do than hang out with me.
they still doing roller derby.
Yeah, this is the last year. Yep. I actually announced the bout last weekend. Might be the last time I have to get up there and like do the calling for one of those, because I don't know if we'll do another home bout before they age out of junior derby. It's gonna make me cry, man. Make me feel old talking about it like that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pull on the heartstrings. I was just, I knew that was something that they were interested in. So, and
You know,
you had
I
talked
think
about
it's
it
the goal
before.
of every parent to like hit the point where your kids like don't need you anymore, but like you get close to that goal and it's like nah, maybe maybe
Rein it back
maybe I
in.
don't need that anymore. Yeah, like come back. it's I mean, it's healthy, but like it's hard on the heart, you know. I mean, you'll get there eventually. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it goes way quicker than it feels like it has any right to.
I'm trying to like mine. Like this is getting off topic, but
Yeah.
this year my oldest, like, he's played hockey and he wanted to try that, so he's been doing that. And then both my boys do scholastic archery. They're in a scholastic archery club and they do archery competitions. We have one Sunday. My oldest got fifth at states 2 months ago for archery. Yeah, we're raising pigs and goats to show at the fair this year as a part of the 4-H club. So like we're letting them experience all the stuff we can while they have the
Yeah.
chance to, So, but along with that, then doesn't mean I necessarily was feeling motivated to record a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm-
I mean,
I'm
real life
burned
and
out.
family, it is a valid priority in my opinion, man.
Yeah, family always comes first. So, but we're back at it, and it's good, and it's good. I feel like I'm exercising the demons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been way too long for sure. I had to like reorganize my office because it had I hadn't had to have a camera on in so long, you know?
Yeah, I think my kids have used the computer more than I have the last couple months, but it's all right. Do you have anything else you want to hit tonight?
No, there was a couple cards from the previews that kind of stood out to me, but I mean, we can save that for next time. And
Well, oh, for Ashes.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here, and we probably lost people when we started talking about parenting anyway. So we can do that's a preview for the next episode. We'll talk
Yeah.
about card previews.
we'll talk about Ashes, not the fake LCG that by Plaid Hat Games. We're talking Ashes of the Empire, the new set for Star Wars Unlimited. Even though Ashes, I did have fun with that.
I'd have to do some homework to have enough opinions on that to make a podcast, though. Like, I've played that game, I've enjoyed it, but I'm not that into it.
So they did when they bought themselves back from whoever had bought them and ended that game, like it was kind of like crowdfunded through Team Covenant for a while, but you could only get it through Team Covenant's website for like the first 6 months. It was a weird system, but they ended up doing something called Red Rain, which was like a PvE experience with your Ashes cards, and
That's cool.
That's a lot of fun. It's similar to like Keyforge Adventures and stuff like that, like, which also my kids have enjoyed. I've gotten into a lot of the PvE side of some of these card games with
Dude,
my kids.
I love co-op games. It's so fun. Like, not having to beat my friends up and instead working with my friends.
Also,
It's
speaking,
cool.
this is Fantasy Flight relevant, but not relevant to Star Wars Unlimited. But did you see the FFG announcement on the next Marvel Champions expansion in Wave? We're
I did.
finally getting Daredevil. So I actually, like, last week dusted off all my Marvel Champions stuff, and my boys are at the age where they can competently go through that with me. So I think we're gonna do some Rhino here
Yeah.
over the weekend. So
When my youngest was around 10, that's when Marvel Champions was like the best game for my kid. Like we played a ton of it, like
Yeah,
about 4 or 5 years ago.
Side Scheme League and all that stuff.
Yeah,
The
oh, man,
Scheme League.
feels like another life, you know.
It does, yeah. That was crazy stuff. All right, that'll be it. So I think maybe we'll do this again in 2 weeks. I think
Yeah,
maybe we can get on a
yeah,
bi-weekly thing probably. Next week I might try to do like a cyberpunk thing. If you want to join me, you can, obviously. If not, then I'll see you in 2 weeks. And everybody else, we'll see you in the arenas.